Coming up at 6, we take a deeper look at how firefighters' gear and other factors put them at risk for developing cancer in part 2 of Igniting the Conversation, the cost of firefighting. That story is next at 6.
Finally, at this basketball game, the real nail-biter was during halftime.
Amazing! This 13-year-old kid sinks one basket, another, but can the 7th grader make the nearly impossible half-court shot? Wait for it. Yes, he can, and the crowd goes wild. J.J. Franks from North Dakota made 4 shots in just 25 seconds. It happened during halftime at a high school basketball game. When that ball came off your hands at the half court, did you know it was going in?
No.
So you were as shocked as everyone else?
Yep.
Call J.J. King of the Court.
Listen to that crowd. And what's really cool is JJ received a $10,000 prize, which he says will go toward his college tuition. See you next time.
One of my favorite things about the Y is having new experiences with neighbors that are part of your community. You're trying all these new things with the people you live with and the people you live around. And so you get a lot of new relationships that way because you're having all these new experiences.
Wishing there was a Y program for you? Gather your friends and submit your program idea at parkersburgymca.org. Connections, bringing people together at the Y. The YMCA of Parkersburg, improving the well-being of the community by facilitating lasting relationships.
Did you know that listening to music, enjoying art, or simply holding hands can boost your cognition? Like me, you want to maintain brain health for as long as possible. I'm Kevin Jameson, President of the Dementia Society of America. Please request our free guide filled with 10 building blocks to better brain health, care planning, and facts about dementia. Visit our website at 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call us at 1-800-DEMENTIA. You want to live life to the fullest, and our free guide can help.
Closed captioning sponsored by Superior Toyota Hyundai and WVU Medicine Camden Clark. Live from our studios at One Television Plaza, this is WTAP News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Phyllis Smith. Turning to the weather first, cold and overcast. Meteorologist Kirk Greenfield joins us now with the first look at your forecast. Kirk?
Well, as we try to recover from last night's brief snowstorm, we still have snow on the ground, as you can see on the levee here in Marietta. We've got a barge going down the Ohio River. You don't often see that at this time of night showing up on the camera so well. The Jan Dills Marietta Skycam atop the Lafayette Hotel says we're at 28. It feels like 22. The relative humidity is 78%. Winds out of the north-northwest at 6, and the pressure 30.28 inches is falling. So our evening planner suggests that it's going to be cold enough it'll preserve whatever's on the ground. We really don't anticipate any additional flurries, although you may see a few flakes. And it looks like we're going by midnight down to about 27, but that's not the bottom yet. We'll start to clear out past midnight. Maybe a good night to look at that green comet around the pole star. We'll talk about that later. I'll be back in just a moment with the rest of your forecast. Back to you.
Thank you, Kirk. On that topic, road crews jumped into action when snow fell last night. According to ODOT, they had crews out working as early as 2:30 this morning. They worked around the clock to clear the roads for the early morning commuters. Officials say they will continue to work through the night as the Mid-Ohio Valley will see below freezing temperatures. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine held his annual State of the State address this afternoon. DeWine spent a significant amount of the beginning of his address talking about issues and goals centered around children in Ohio. The Ohio governor spent a while talking about wanting improved literacy and reading for children, citing the Dolly Parton Imagination Library and his wife Fran's efforts in that area. He also wants to improve health care for children, impacting foster care, child mental health, and school safety. DeWine says that the budget will look to create a new cabinet-level agency called the Department of Children and Youth to accomplish these goals.
Our proposed Department of Children and Youth Services will consolidate programs from 6 different state agencies and focus specifically on the following. 1, the physical health of mothers, infants, and children. 2, children's behavioral health and the early identification of and intervention in mental health needs. 3, children in foster care. 4, early childhood education. We're excited about the prospect of this new department and what it will mean for Ohio children and for their families.
We will have more about DeWine's State of the State address later tonight at 10 and 11. Still ahead, the West Virginia State Senate on Monday passed a bill that would add armed guardians to public schools.
Flurries may continue in the Mid-Ohio Valley as the temperatures will remain below freezing this evening.
Tonight's news poll is sponsored by Baker & Baker Jewelers and by the Basement Doctor of West Virginia.
Life is full of firsts. Those first baby steps. That first clumsy kiss. Or that first car you called a classic. And when you're ready to purchase your first home, the West Virginia Housing Development Fund is ready to help you finance it with little or no money down. That's why the fund is the first choice for first-time home buyers. Take the first step to your first home. Call us or ask your lender about a fund loan today.
D&R Heating and Cooling is locally owned and family operated. D&R guarantees customer satisfaction. They're not happy until you are. How can D&R do that? They are constantly training and investing in their technicians so you get the best service available. Check out D&R Heating and Cooling online and call today for an appointment. The D&R family of experts will put your family's comfort first. 304-489-2999. That's 304-489-2999.
So sweet, so crispy. Nobody makes breakfast as good as Wendy's new home-style French toast sticks.
Nobody.
Nope.
Keep talking. I can't hear you.
I should probably stop.
Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's home-style French toast sticks.
Who are the toughest men and women in the area? It's the 38th annual Tough Man Contest, sponsored by 103.1 The Bear, Shirt Factory and Sporting Goods, Astrogato, Pro Trust Advisors, West Virginia Mobile Drug Testing, North Central West Virginia Airport, J.W. Potts Insurance, and the West Virginia Polo Club, coming to the Parkersburg High School Fieldhouse this Friday and Saturday night. Buy tickets at WVToughman.com. It's the 38th annual Tough Man Contest, coming this Friday and Saturday night to the Parkersburg High School Fieldhouse.
Keep your family safe inside and unwanted visitors outside. With CrimSafe custom-built security windows and doors. Now you can let the outside in while staying totally secure. Call Budget Blinds of Parkersburg and let them show you how.
You're watching WTAP News at 6 with Phyllis Smith, Kirk Greenfield with your pinpoint weather forecast, and Ryan Wilson with sports.
The West Virginia State Senate on Monday passed a bill that wants to add armed guardians to public schools. Senate Bill 282 would establish the West Virginia Guardian Program. The program would allow retired military or law enforcement officers to act as independent contractors to provide armed security in West Virginia public schools. These guardians would be allowed to carry concealed firearms and would serve to protect school students and faculty from violence, bullying, theft, substance abuse, the sale or use of illegal substances, exposure to weapons, and threats on school grounds. Counties would choose whether or not to opt into the program and utilize these security services. Senator Eric Tarr, the bill's lead sponsor, said during Monday's floor session that the legislation was inspired by concerns raised to him and other members of the Senate.
Actually, I had a conversation down in Winfield, West Virginia about this with two Special Forces veterans who had concerns about school safety and were wanting to construct a mechanism by which men who were trained professionals to run at a gun could be at our schools with a gun, to be able to go, should there be an instance in our schools where our children, our teachers, or anybody else that's in that building is unsafe because of somebody bringing a gun in there illegally.
The legislation will next be considered by the House of Delegates. Now let's go to Kirk Greenfield for another look at the forecast. Kirk, can we expect more snow flurries?
We may see a few flurries tonight, but they're really not in the forecast. We pretty much had our opportunity for snowfall last night. Now whatever's on the ground is going to be preserved. Let's take a look at our radar satellite composite. And as you can see, clouds, yes, and any brief streaks of white are moving very quickly into the mountains of West Virginia. They're gone for the most part. So we are left with below freezing temperatures and overcast conditions, as you noted. When we take a look here on the Jantilles Marietta Skycam atop the Lafayette Hotel, 28 degrees right now. Feels like 22. That's the wind chill because of the winds out of the north-northwest at 6. The relative humidity 78% and the barometer 30.28 inches and falling. When we look at our current temperatures, we have 30 down in Charleston, 28 in Parkersburg, 27 for Athens, and 23 in Columbus. And then it drops down to 18 by Cleveland and Toledo. Glad we're not up there. The winds generally from the northwest about 6 miles per hour. As a result, the wind chill is much more pronounced to the north and west. Although we have our share at this point, you'll want to bundle up because we're a good 11 degrees colder than we were last night at this same time. When we look for any radar echoes, again, quiet as high pressure starts to build in. Again, the center is way over by St. Louis, well to the west of us at this point, and it doesn't look like we're going to see anything except for some northwest flow. In the meantime, that's pushing the clash zone for the slow-moving front and the showers well to the south and east of us. However, there are winter weather advisories from about Charleston, West Virginia, further south. Not really our area at all. So Futurecast suggests we'll watch some of these clouds begin to crumble before we get to midnight, and that's why I suggest that it might not be a bad night to try to get a glimpse of that green comet that'll be close to the North Pole star. Now, again, it's moving rather quickly, and you have to have some patience, but you'll have to bundle up if you're going to go out tonight. Tomorrow, bright sunshine as we have mainly clear conditions, but not absolutely so. And that'll continue as we get into Thursday. So the prediction for Groundhog Day looks like in the area, sunshine is more likely than not. Well, watches and warnings and winter weather advisory well to the south of us down in the Charleston area. As you can see, it also continues off into the mountains of West Virginia, so we're on the better side of that, although cold. 20 for the overnight low, mostly cloudy. A few flurries possible, but not in the forecast. Tomorrow, 33 for the high as the sun breaks through, so it should be a much more pleasant day. It'll really boost the spirits to see the sun. And then we really warm up for Groundhog Day, and then another cold snap for Friday. But we finally come back to the 50s, in fact, almost up to 60 by the time we get to next Tuesday. Well, tonight's winner for the Sketch the Outdoors contest, sponsored by People's Bank, is My Colorful Snowflake by Jason Hiley, age 5 of Parkersburg. If you'd like to enter the daily contest, submit your digital copy of your child's outdoor artwork on our WTAP webpage. Look for the entry Sketch the Outdoors and follow the directions to upload and enter. A new winner is drawn each weekday and presented at both 6 and 11 p.m. newscasts. Phyllis?
Thank you, Kirk. Still ahead, we take a deeper look at how firefighters' gear and other factors put them at risk for developing cancer in part 2 of Igniting the Conversation, the cost of firefighting. That story is next at 6.
You wouldn't settle for just part of an umbrella or half a tent. And you wouldn't protect just one ear. But if you haven't gotten the updated booster, you're only partly protected from COVID-19. It works great against the latest variants. And that's especially important if you're over 65.
Like me.
So get the new booster and get fully protected.
Hash browns are the French fries of breakfast.
Who says it's not French fries that are the hash browns of lunch and dinner?
That's also true.
Mix and match your breakfast favorites, like the hearty sausage, gravy, and biscuit for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Diversified Energy is a different kind of energy producer. We're stewards of existing natural gas resources, not drillers. Every day, our local well tenders travel our state to check equipment and sample air quality, making sure the natural gas you use is produced responsibly. Our footprint is small, so is our impact on the environment and our local roads. At Diversified, we care about our local communities. That's our responsibility. That's our promise.
Hi, I'm Phyllis Smith. I grew up watching WTAP.
And I'm Alexa Griffey. I'm also from here and recently joined the station.
The Mid-Ohio Valley is home, and I have a chance to work for our local station.
I love learning and growing in my hometown. WTAP is part of Gray Media, the second largest broadcasting company in the country.
If you think you're a good fit for the WTAP News team, you owe it to yourself to check out the jobs page at WTAP.com. Come join us.
Are you hungry for some good old down-home country cooking? Then come on over to Cheryl's Country Diner on Route 47 just past the college. Hi, I'm Cheryl, the owner, and we're always serving up some delicious specials. Try any one of our meat entrees like the pulled pork sandwich and fries. On the lighter side, we have the grilled chicken strip salad or chef's salad. Don't forget our homemade pies for dessert. Cheryl's Country Diner open Monday through Friday 7 to 7, Saturday 9 to 6, and our new Sunday hours 9 to 2. Cheryl's Country Diner located just past the State Police Barracks on Route 47.
Tune in to WTAP News anytime during our newscast and watch for the latest local and national news headlines right at the bottom of your screen. The WTAP News Ticker, sponsored by Jim Leach, Attorneys at Law.
New episodes of AGT All-Stars, Monday on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
We talked about the increased risk firefighters face of getting and dying from occupational cancer and the importance of raising awareness on this issue yesterday. But how are all these heroes being exposed? And what are stations currently doing to help firefighters right now? Alexa Griffey joins us in the studio with today's part two of Igniting the Conversation, the cost of firefighting. Alexa.
Thanks, Phyllis. You brought up some really good questions, and some of the answers may surprise you. You'll see that the very thing protecting them from the fires themselves may be slowly killing them. Part 2 of my series, Igniting the Conversation, we're looking at the different ways firefighters are exposed to things that cause cancer. That includes the gear that they wear, the foam they use to fight the fires, and even the fumes from their fire trucks. The CDC refers to these types of exposures as occupational exposures. The cancers linked to these exposures are often referred to as occupational cancer. Tonight, we look at some of the actions being taken to better protect the firefighters and how the culture has changed in the fire service.
Top priority is the safety of the firefighters here.
Firefighters rely on certain things to protect them while fighting fires. The trucks carrying them to the fires and holding their equipment, their gear to protect them from heat and flames, and foams to put out the fires. But those things could be putting them at risk.
And it just is what it is. I mean, we have to have that gear to protect us, thermal protection in the fires. It's sad that that's an inherent risk that comes with that, and the fire protection built into it is killing us.
Over the past few years, firefighter groups have been looking into how they're being exposed to carcinogens and the types of cancers facing the fire service.
The foams and the gear, really, they in the past have had what are called PFAS. Another term for them, they call them forever chemicals, because once they do get into your system, they don't go away.
The EPA says PFAS are widely used and long-lasting chemicals that break down slowly.
There is a percentage of it in all of the personal protective equipment, the turnout gear that firefighters wear.
Schumacher says manufacturers are working on alternatives without these chemicals. He says progress has been made with new foams, but as of today, there are no safer alternatives to the gear.
Which is your thermal protection, and this is your vapor barrier. And then they have the outer shell.
So it's not like one specific thing like this or that. It's just kind of whenever it all gets heated.
Yeah.
Vienna Volunteer Fire Chief Scholl says that the fires themselves are changing too.
And like I said, the fires burn so much hotter and faster anymore that it's really a disadvantage to us.
More synthetic materials and plastics have caused the fires to burn faster, hotter, and with more chemicals in the smoke. This is causing firefighters to reevaluate how they attack the fires. Some of those changes include new equipment, separate gear rooms, and supplies.
We recently have built 2 new fire stations, and we're working on a third. Part of that build process was, making it as safe as possible for the firefighters that are there.
Part of that safer build process includes a new vent system that hooks up to the fire trucks and funnels the exhaust out of the building. Chief Matthews says this system and having a separate room for their gear is a no-brainer.
I know before we got those, you would, when they clean the station every day, You could go in and wipe down the kitchen table, and you could see it inside the station.
Wipes and decontamination kits are now brought to the fires.
We have wipes on the trucks where even, they come out and they start taking that stuff off. They're wiping down their face, their hands, so there's even no residual particulates on them. They wipe them off before they can absorb them. With the amount of heat, the gear is made to release the heat, but you're still opening up those pores and it's able to absorb a lot faster.
It isn't just procedural changes that have come from the research, but also cultural changes.
It used to be if your turnout gear and your helmet was really dirty, that you were a really good firefighter. And now we're learning, okay, yeah, you're going to get dirty, but you need to clean it after, and you don't need to breathe that stuff in. You don't need to absorb that stuff through your skin. So those are the big changes.
When you sign up to do this, it's dangerous. You don't want to go looking for problems. But back then, of course, we were all young and invincible. But over time, things, the older I get, the more I hope I'm learning about it and being more cautious about it.
I did ask both Fire Chief Matthews and Scholl if anyone in their departments had been diagnosed with occupational cancer, and they said they didn't know of anyone who had. And like I said, researchers are still trying to learn more about these forever chemicals and the effects that they have on the body. Tomorrow, in my final part of the series, we'll look at the different types of cancers firefighters are facing and what's being done to help protect them. We'll also look to the future. What do firefighters want to see happen? And what does the future of firefighting look like? Phyllis.
Thank you, Alexa. Coming up in sports, there have been some changes to the high school basketball schedule due to schools in the area being closed. Ryan Wilson has an update coming up next in sports.